Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel Reviewed, where we talk about all things television and film from today and yesteryear. So today I wanted to come on here and do somewhat of a recap slash recommendation for the show Forever, currently streaming on Netflix. And for me, this is one of those shows for me where I press play on episode 1, and before I knew it, I was on episode 8. Like, I literally watched all 8 episodes that day. Okay. I really enjoyed this show, and I just have some thoughts. So let's get to it. Now, if you have not watched this show, then I suggest you do not watch this video if you do not want any spoilers. Me, I'm the type of person, I can watch a review on something or read a recap about something, and sometimes that makes me want to watch the show even more. I did that with the movie Sinners, okay? But anyway, this show is about two teenagers, mainly Keisha and Justin, these two here. They went to elementary school together, and they end up coming back into each other's lives at a high school party that they were both invited to by their best friends. So here we have Darius and Chloe. Chloe is Keisha's best friend, and Darius is Justin's best friend. So Keisha, she used to go to this private school, and that's how her and Chloe became best friends, because Keisha is growing up, I guess, in South Central LA, but she has been afforded the opportunity to be able to go to private schools courtesy of her mother. Now, Justin and Darius, they go to the same school. They've been friends for a long time. Mind you, Justin comes from a very prominent black family. They are very well to do. His father owns restaurants. I'm not sure exactly what his mom does. His mom has graduated college, but it's not clear on what her job is just yet. But he comes from a very prominent background. So these are Justin's parents, Eric and Dawn Edwards. Shout out to Karen Pittman, who plays Dawn. She first came on my radar from the morning show. That's where I first saw her on, was the morning show that comes on Apple TV. And then she was also on the first 2 seasons of the revamp of Sex and the City. But she plays his mom, and she does a phenomenal job on here. I love his dad. His dad is such a laid back dude. He kind of just like, I gotta let my son grow up and be a man. But the mom, she she is one of those moms who you love, but you also like, girl, you need to bag down. Okay. And here we have Shelly, who is Keisha's mom. Shout out to Tasha Rockmore. I like her. I first saw her on Cherish the Day, the first season of Ava DuVernay's Cherish the Day. So I like her. She's a good actress. But she plays Keisha mom. And what I liked about this show is that you get the dynamic of the two-parent household, well-to-do, very successful black family, got a lot going for themselves. And then you have this single mom who seemingly had her daughter at a young age, but she is one of those single moms that's like, I am not a product of my environment or my circumstances. Like, she literally works more than one job to send her daughter to a private school. Keisha is a very smart girl. She's a great track star. She is pursuing Howard University. That's where she wants to go to college. That's where she wants to run, track. And, she is going to be afforded that opportunity. But Keisha is like every typical teenager. She's just a selfish person. She cannot see outside of herself. She thinks she's doing um, what is going to be for the betterment of people that she is around, but in actuality she's only looking out for herself. So but I do love the dynamic, like I said, of the different parenting, because even though her mom is a single parent, she is one of those single parents who makes sure that the lights stay on, that the clothes are on her back, and that she has cleats to run in. Okay. And these are Keisha's cousins, so we get a lot of them in the show too. Not too much, but just enough. And they are ghetto and fabulous, and I absolutely love them. They are hilarious. Okay. So, like I said, Justin and Keisha, they reunite at a birthday party. And so they decide to start hanging out just to see where things go. Now, mind you, Justin, he's a good kid, very sweet, very polite, mindful. He does have ADHD. So, he has a little hard time in school, but he plays basketball and he does the best that he can. He is also very talented when it comes to making music beats. Like, he has a knack for music, which he loves. Again, Keisha, she is, she runs track for her school. She has a site set on Howard University, and they are just trying to figure things out um, individually and as a couple. So Justin and Keisha are hanging out, and they go into this store. He picks him up some tennis shoes, and he was like, if you want something, he can get you something. She's like, you sure? He was like, yeah. He's like, I got a lot of gift cards for Christmas, so if you want something, you can get something. Now, keep in mind the time frame that all of this is going on is from 2018 to 2019, right? So Keisha's like, okay. So she goes pick her up a little track bag, and he purchased it, and they leave the store. So they're headed out, they're going to the movies, and they end up running into Justin's friend Darius. And Darius, he's like, oh, so what's up? Y'all hanging out or whatever. And he got this little look on his face, like, okay, I see you, friend, I see you, or whatever. So he and Keisha, Justin and Keisha go to the movies. They're kissing, and then Keisha, she's kissing him and she's touching on him, in his area or whatever. And she is getting ready to perform oral on him. And so he stops her, and she's like, ugh, she's like, oh my God, like taken aback that he stopped her. And she gets upset. And so she leaves the theater, and he chases behind her. It's like, hey, Keisha, Keisha, hold on. She's like, did you see the video? Like that. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't understand about. She's like basically pissed off, and she ends up leaving. And so his thing was he didn't want her to feel like she needed to do anything with him because he bought her something. He was just letting her know that's not the type of time I'm on. Like, you don't have to do that. But she didn't give him a chance to explain. So he ends up looking up a video, and there is a video out of Keisha and her ex-boyfriend where she is basically giving him oral as well. You know what I'm saying? So then we find out that that is the reason why Keisha ended up leaving her old school, the school that, her best friend Chloe is currently attending. She ended up leaving that school because of a tape that got out about her and her ex boyfriend. This big ear fool right here, okay? This is Keisha's ex boyfriend. He is the one who sent the tape to his friend, and the tape ended up getting around school. So Keisha had to leave her school unbeknownst to her mother. She basically played it up like she was dealing with racism and things like that, and she just could not cope. So her mom ended up putting her in another school. And this whole time, Keisha is carrying this secret, and she has not let her mom know the real reason why she had to leave her old school. Mind you, her mother again is working more than one job to make sure that her daughter is in a really good school, private school. And this is something that Keisha is holding on to. And for me, Keisha allowed too many things to happen because of this situation. And for me, like I said, she was just a little selfish. But this little big eared fool right here, honey, he he is a very great athlete. He is getting ready to basically get drafted into the NBA. So of course, Keisha's mom and her cousins and everybody are all for her being with her ex boyfriend, not knowing the conundrum that he put her in. So much happens in this series. I'm not gonna kind of go over everything, but again, I just wanted to do a brief recap of it. Keisha ends up blocking Justin after the whole movie debacle, and he goes out of his way to basically let her know that he likes her. He's taking driving lessons, and he ends up driving to her school and apologizes to her, letting her know, hey, I really like you. I'm sorry. I just basically explaining his case. And he didn't know anything about the tape, but it doesn't bother him that she does have one out there. So once he gets her to unblock him, honey, his mama take his cell phone because he didn't send an email to his principal from his mom account excusing him from his classes for the day, and she found out about it. And mama do not play no games, okay? She do not play about education. She do not play about her kids. She don't play overall, okay? The mom does not play. So after he convinces Keisha to unblock him, honey, now he can't even respond to her text messages. So they go through this whole thing where he cannot talk to her. So now she thinking he ghosted her and he's playing games when in actuality he does not have access to his phone. So once, Justin, he lets his dad knows what's going on. He ends up talking to his mom. He was like, is the girl black? Because his mom main thing is because again, they are in an affluent community, very well-to-do black family, got money, nice house, everything. So his mom, her main thing is her son. She want him to get him she want a black daughter-in-law, basically. Like, I want my son to have a black girlfriend. Like, it is what it is. So once he lets his mom know that, Mom, I really need my phone back because Keisha, and the mom was like, Keisha? And he was like, Keisha, she's black? He was like, yes, she's black. So that was his way to butter his mom up in order to get his phone and everything back from his mom after she had him on punishment, because he wanted her to know, look, it's a girl I really like, and it's Keisha. She's like, yeah, Mom, Keisha from elementary school. She's like, that Keisha? So she's okay. But anyway, this is a moment where they all meet up and see each other for the first time. This is where Keisha sees Justin's mom for the first time. And we also get to see Justin, see Keisha's mom, Shelly, for the first time in years. So everybody is, glad to see each other and just basically catching up. And what I did appreciate about Justin and his family is they did not judge Shelly and Keisha's situation. Like I said, they lived in a certain part of Cali that wasn't necessarily the best, but it didn't seem like they were in like a really, really bad area. Like I said, her mom, Keisha's mom, Shelly, she did not play no games. She made sure they had a place to stay, food on the table, lights, everything. Like, she just provided for her daughter. But what I did appreciate about Justin's family is because they were such a well-to-do family, but they didn't look down on Shelly and Keisha. Like, I really appreciated that, because sometimes when you have people with money, they want their children to basically have someone in that same social class. So I did appreciate the fact that they were not that type of family. Like, they didn't like, son, I understand you like Keisha, but she lived there and she do, you can't date her. So I did appreciate the fact that it was not that type of party when it came to them in their judgment. I really, really like that. But honey, so Shelly's mom shows up and Shelly's ex-boyfriend is with the mom because, again, he's trying to woo her back. And I think a lot of it had to do, I think in the back of his mind, he was concerned that maybe Keisha was going to, say something about the tape, because, again, this young man is getting ready to go to the NBA. And here Keisha is, she's trying to get to Howard University. She wants to run track, get a scholarship and things like that. But he shows up and Keisha ends up walking off with him. He asks Keisha, hey, can we talk for a minute? And this is just understand. And let me tell you something. The emotions that this young man went through in this series, I really, oh my gosh, like, I have a daughter, so I don't know what it's like to be a mother of a son. But this young man, he just went through so much, and his mom just loved him so, so much. But she loved him to the point where she got in his way a little bit, and also in his head. But like I said, this time frame is from 2018 to 2019, and this is at the height of black boys and men getting pulled over by the popo. You got to be careful with how you drive and how you respond if you get pulled over. So all of this is going on. But when Keisha went to go walk off with her ex-boyfriend and Justin is just staring there, there's a moment when his mom keeps looking over at him. She's trying to have a conversation with Shelly, but she keeps looking back and checking on her son, because she's like, she sees that he is hurting because of what Keisha did. And mind you, he and Keisha just got back on speaking terms. They just unblocked each other. He's trying to, have something with her. He really likes her. And this look right here, I was like, oh my God, poor kid. Oh my gosh, y'all, this show was so good. I could watch this again. I would fast forward through a couple of things, but I could definitely rewatch this show again. So, oh boy, he's pleading his case to Keisha, apologizing to her, letting her know he's sorry. And Keisha is basically, she is listening to him. She's trying to play him to the left, but she's also listening to him. And he proposes that they go to prom together. And Keisha's like, why? And he was like, just come to my senior prom with me. He's talking to her, and she ends up accepting the prom invite from him. And that ticked me off, because I'm like, girl, why would you want to go to prom with somebody who videotaped you, sent it to a friend who basically sent it around the whole school? So Keisha's thing is this: since her mom does not know about the tape, her mom thinks that her ex-boyfriend trying to get back with her and doing all these grand gestures, because he sends her some beautiful roses at one point. Her mom feels like, oh, well, he must really know he messed up and want to be with you. And I'm like, girl, just why not just say, Mom, we broke up, I don't want to be back with him. But instead of her even saying a little bit of the truth, I get the uncomfortability of having a conversation with her mom about, hey, Mom, I got a sex tape out or whatever. But the fact that she didn't even tell her mom, I just don't want to have nothing to do with him. It's like she kept putting herself in these situations. And by her allowing this thing to play out, it was selfish of her because she pulled Justin into that. And this kid, he's just trying to have a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's awkward. He has, his ADHD and things like that, but he's really into Keisha. And so by her not being somewhat honest, even with herself, let alone her mom, she pulls him into a situation. And like I said, it's just giving selfish because she didn't have to do that to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a lot of stuff that she did that I absolutely just was not here for at all. And neither was Justin's mom.
You know, baby, as much as I want you with a black girl, I don't want you disrespected.
So, honey, the boomerang swings back around because when I tell you Keisha had Justin blocked and things like that, now Justin got Keisha blocked. And it's just like it's back and forth, but it's so real because it's like this is what teenagers do, and quiet as it's kept, this is what some adults do. They play these little cat and mouse games, and the way that things started off with them, I was like, there's just no way these two need to be together. But he blocks Keisha, she gives him some, it's just a bunch of back and forth. Like, it's so much that happened in these 8 episodes, you guys. It was just a lot, but ultimately they end up becoming a couple. And honestly, it's about just the growing pains of getting ready to get out of high school and figure out life, and just basically being in a relationship with your first love. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what the show was centered around, just them maneuvering life as teenagers and just having that experience of first love. So, needless to say, Keisha, she does get accepted into Howard University. She gets a full ride scholarship, and Justin, he is to go to Northern University, some university in Chicago, the same college that his mom went to. And at this point, they are just trying to figure out where they are going to go in their relationship. Also, once Keisha and Justin decided that they were going to be in a relationship, they were going to be girlfriend and boyfriend, she does end up canceling the prom with the ex boyfriend. But something transpires between she and Justin, and she ends up going to the prom with the boy anyway. Justin sees all this play out on social media. The young man is so depressed. He's dealing with anxiety and everything. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, just seeing your child as a parent in real life, and just seeing your child or children go through stuff, you just really never know what a lot of these kids deal with when it comes to relationships, friendships, school, just trying to figure it out. And like I said, this young man did such a good job with his portrayal of um, dealing with all that. Like, you literally, at one point, he was talking to his mom, and you could hear it in his voice that he was getting ready to cry. She's like, babe, you can just stay home. She said, just get out the car. You can go home. You can just stay home from school. And he literally slept all day over his first love. Like, he was just heartbroken. And, we never really got to see what Keisha was dealing with outside of the breakup, because her and Justin ended up being broken up for like 3 months, I want to say. And we never got to see her, what she was dealing with. They showed more of him and how he was maneuvering through, because again, his mom, she did not play about her sons. She did not play about her son. But again, like I said, she loved him so much, but she inserted herself too much in his business. And even her husband told her, he's like, honey, you got to let our son be a man. Women, he's gonna deal with heartbreak. It's nothing that we're going to be able to do to keep him from getting his heart broken. Like, you're going to have to let him man up and learn how to deal with certain things. So here we have Keisha and Justin looking all cute. They little glow up. He got him a haircut. She took her braids out. But anyway, they are all excited about her getting ready to go to Howard, and, him potentially going to college. They start talking about him producing music because he really, really has a knack for music and he really loves producing music. And they're just trying to figure out what their dynamic is going to be in reference to their relationship. Sidebar, let me say this, and I'm not a prude or anything like that, but this show had a little bit too much of over sexualizing the teenagers in their relationship. Like, I get it, teenagers have sex and things like that, but it's just like, it's just some stuff I don't want to see. So I did not like that at all. That's like the one caveat about the show I didn't like. Like, I get that these people are grown in real life, but they're still portraying teenagers, and it's just some stuff I could do without. Like, when the writing is good, the acting is good, it's just some stuff that you can leave out, you know what I'm saying? So I did not like that about the show, just the whole sexualizing of the teenagers and them doing whatever. That was just too much for me. But anyway, Justin and Keisha, they are just basically going with the motions and trying to figure out what they're going to do with their relationship. Ultimately, things go a certain way, and they just going to have to figure out where they're going to go next. And that's why I really hope we get a season two, because there is so much more story that is to be told for these two. So I just wanted to talk about the moms for a second. Listen, when I tell you I wanted more from them, I wanted more screen time of the parents, okay, especially the moms. Listen, I loved the relationships these mothers had with their children. Again, Dawn was one of those moms. She was protective. She was like, I'm raising black boys. I got to make sure my boys come home every night. I got to make sure you're good. You need to maneuver life this way. She teaches her sons the right things, but at the same time, when it came to Justin, she told him who he was and what he was going to be. She never really asked him what he wanted to be. And I did not like that, because she imposed her values and the way that she saw life for him on him. Like, you're going to go to my alma mater. You're going to do this, that, in the next 4 years. She was one of those parents. Even though she loved and did a lot of things for her children, made sure he had a nice car, things like that. She still imposed her values on him as far as who she wanted him to be. You know what I'm saying? So I did not like that. Um, I didn't like how she handled the situation with Keisha when she found out about the sex tape. I really did not like that at all. Shelly, I felt sorry for her because, again, Keisha, unfortunately, even though Keisha felt like she was doing the right thing, looking out for her mom, she put her mom in a situation that she didn't have to be in. Her mom, even the money her mom spent with the prom, like, Keisha just did a lot of things that could have been avoided. But what I would like to see in season two with the moms, I would like to see how Dawn is going to, her relationship, her whole dynamic with Justin, since he is not doing what she wants him to do. You understand? I'm curious to see how that is going to turn out. And if he does decide to go ahead and go to college, I also would like to see Keisha, how she's handling being away at college, because let's be real, when our children are in high school, they may be the big wig at high school, the jock and the fastest person. But when you get off to college and you start seeing people from all over the country who do look like you, but baby, they may be a little faster, a little smarter. Like, I am curious to see how Keisha is going to adapt to college life, being such a smart student, such a great athlete. I do want to see that. And I also want them to, show how becoming an empty nester, with Shelly. Her daughter is all the way in DC. Okay. Like, she's in California. Her only child is all the way in DC in college. So I would like for them to show how she's dealing with her daughter being away from college. Because let me tell you something. It's one thing to have your first child go to college, but when it's your only child, it's a whole different ball game. Okay. Me being a parent of one, when my child went to college and she was only an hour away, like, it was months before I could sleep at night, because I just did not know how to deal with it. Like, it's so much anxiety and worry about your child going off to college, especially in the world that we live in now. I'm telling you, it is no joke. So I would like for them to, I would like to see how that comes into play in Shelly's life, especially with her having that new job and things like that. Just seeing how she's going to cope with her daughter not being there and being away in college. And then, just how the interactions between Justin and Keisha, how they're going to be since Keisha is away at school, and when she comes home to visit. I'm just it's so much that they could do with this series. So I really, really hope it definitely gets a season 2, and I hope we get more from Dawn and Shelly. That's all. Okay. So, y'all, I did hear that Forever has been renewed for a season 2, so I cannot wait. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.